So we're back to familiar territory now. We essentially exit the basement where we first entered a long time ago, but we're going to be heading back to Death Row. In the meantime, we will have to deal with Horace. He will immediately be a boss fight here. But it does give us some zombium, and as soon as we approach the glass, the fight will start. And you can't help but feel bad for Horace the entire time that this is happening, so we are actually helping him.
Never stops. Just keep burning. It won't let me go.
But the boss fight is pretty simplistic in nature, nothing really too extreme. Whenever we're in the area, he does release these little electric rings that we need to jump over. Pretty easy to dodge. They never really get faster or multiple waves of them. He does have like an energy blast like attack, but eventually these power shields go down and then we just attack the boxes to stop them from electrifying Horace. But yeah, the entire time Horace is giving us the story of his life. Essentially, he was convicted originally and didn't get the sentence that he probably rightfully deserved in his mind. Who's to say he could be a liar, but at the same time, he does seem kind of sorry for what he did originally. But yeah, he ended up killing his wife or girlfriend, whichever one it was. But at the same time, he does say that it wasn't him. Something took over.
She was laying there after. She looked so beautiful with a sheen of sweat on her. And I did it. I cut her. Every last inch of her. All over. I cut her.
But yeah, we destroy the last electrical box and then we can hit the switch over on the side that was barriered off before. Not literally hit the switch, just flip it. But that's basically all of Horace's fight.
Thank you.
And the poor guy can finally rest. But yeah, his whole story, essentially, he was in prison for wrongfully doing something, ended up getting an extended time in prison. His girlfriend slash wife, whichever one was it, came in, and he ended up actually killing her due to the influence of Carnate. So you kind of have to feel sorry for him in the sense that he didn't seem to be in control of his own actions. But as Hermes says, we are down to just him as far as the antagonists go.
We will meet again later. I look forward to it.
Also, Hermes' voice actor, really good job because he is creepy as fuck. Like, just the very breathy, creepy, whatever you want to call it, vibes that he gives off are just weird as hell. So kudos to that guy. As said before, I think he actually plays Sniper in TF2, the voice actor. John Patrick Lowry, I think it was. If I'm miscrediting that, my apologies, but I believe that's what I read. So, interesting range on that guy. Goes from playing a creepy-ass, very gassy, breathy executioner in a game to Australian sniper who loves his mom. But if anybody's familiar with this place from part 1, we are literally back to square one.
Is that you, Daddy?
And this part can actually have different outcomes depending on how evil or good you are. Your kids will give different lines and your wife will give different lines depending on how your morality's doing at this point.
Daddy, I I love you, Daddy. You wouldn't hurt him.
So yeah, if you couldn't tell, our morality is in pretty good standing
Dad,
because the kids don't
I'm over
hate our
here.
guts.
You're not so bad, I guess. I just wish you'd always been there, you know?
So yeah, we are on the path of the good ending. And it's a good indicator that we are, because our kids are actually
Something
liking
broke in
us,
you when that grew
and the
home
wife
to you.
doesn't blame
I
us.
didn't have enough time to fix it. There's beauty in you. I could always see it. Stay strong for me, okay?
And then, oddly enough, Killjoy comes back one last time to give us something of note. Well, not one last time, but he does give us something interesting. And another thing of note is, this entire game, Torque actually doesn't have shoes. If you look in his cell, you can actually see his sneakers that he threw off in the very beginning. And with that, we did actually get our final upgrade for our Insanity mode. So now we have the Thrust. We actually lost all AoE capabilities in Insanity mode now. So that's kind of bad. But here I hit the map button. I was actually going for the documents button, so I do end up hitting that. I did transcribe all of Killjoy's diagnosis just for point of interest. You don't actually get any wording, and you do have to read these tiny little pictures on the screen. So I transcribed that. If you'd like to read it, you can pause it. But yeah, reading that really hurt my damn eyes. But I figured I would save everybody else's eyeballs and actually put up the text on the screen, all Silent Hill or Resident Evil style. That's one of the downsides of this game, is they didn't really think about people, you know, having to read these tiny pictures. So, in the meantime, I did transcribe it and put everything in text, so I hope it helps. It is an interesting story on Torque's insanity, which it does explain that he basically doesn't become a monster, he just thinks of himself as one, but he is a normal-ass person to everyone else, and just happens to be tearing things apart on sheer adrenaline and ridiculous amounts of inhuman strength because of it. But here, we're just going to help out these guards as much as we can. One of them actually ends up dying, so that's kind of unfortunate. But at the same time, we won't get any negative morality if one of them dies from an enemy, so that's not really an issue. I didn't want to keep doing checkpoints for guards and stuff, because the game can get kind of janky, and having to, you know, keep something as dumb as some of these guards alive is a hell of a task. Sometimes quite impossible in the odds. The Fester Rats definitely make life a little harder whenever it comes to a situation like that, so I just said screw it, since we're not getting negative morality and our morality is already in good standing. I just went ahead and kept playing. I just happened to do it for Clem earlier because his is a unique scene of him sailing away. So we're not really too concerned with keeping any particular people alive at this point. We just don't want to kill them ourselves. So if we do get a bad decision, or do get a bad morale choice, we're just going to try and avoid it in all ways possible. Like, I could shoot this guy right now to get bad morality, but I don't. There's no real gain from it. His friend did end up dying, and he ends up going mentally insane, kind of, in the corner. So, just let him do his thing.
Wish I had a big goddamn flamethrower to take all those fuckers out.
And yeah, he does just keep repeating the same 2 lines. It's kind of funny. But we are going to be back in the rec yard with the texture problem over in the corner, like back in the original part. Again, no idea why it is just that one singular patch in the rec yard that has that texture bug, but it's a lot less noticeable in this part because I'm not walking on it, so I just kind of ignore its existence. But here we just had a marksman show up. Again, shotgun, really good at dealing with them. Because it stuns them, they can't ever get in their locked position to shoot us. And the burrower, I missed twice, like a genius, but after that, just deal with them really quickly, because the shotgun can hold them in place too. Despite the shotgun having kind of wonky damage, it is still reliable in its ability to CC, so that is always good. But here we get the radio message, we need to repair the lighthouse, which is actually one of the last sections of the game, so we are getting pretty far along as things go. But we'll be to the lighthouse not too relatively quickly, but still in due time. So we take out the Fester and then just have to dodge its kamikaze rats. But we are back in the rec yard with the machine gun, so do take advantage of the fact that we have that. And again, the Festers are bulletproof, which includes the 50 cal, so we can't really do much against him with the heavy machine gun that we have there. Whenever you get 2 Festers right on top of each other, it can be a very terrible situation. Because they actually knock you down with their attacks, you can actually get kind of stun locked, which really isn't good. Like there we get hit by one, and then the other charges up and hits us again. So it's a good thing they kind of knocked us away, because that could have ended up a lot worse. But here, this is a good example of how the last form of insanity, the stab or the thrust maneuver, is kind of bad. There, you can see it actually locks you in place whenever you're throwing the Slayer to the side, and there's not a whole lot you can actually do in that situation. You kind of are just stuck in the animation while you're doing the kill maneuver. So it locks you in an animation for like 3 seconds. It's kind of like the same idea as the roll. I do give it some slack because this is an older game, but at the same time, the animation frames of certain things are just mind-bafflingly weird. Because all of your AoE attacks that you originally have in that form are just really good, but the thrust is just really bad. But here we're done with the rec yard, so we're going to be moving on to the next part. But let me know what you guys think, and have a good one.